Sejam todos bem-vindos ao podcast da PROF. Welcome back, everybody. Amanda speaking to a brand new episode of my own podcast, of my very own podcast. Within the holiday seasons, I really thought I could share a little story, something that happened with me today, as well as give you the opportunity to practice your comprehension skills, and of course, make this little room, this little podcast, talk, chat, where we can talk about a specific subject. Today, we're going to talk about Christmas, holiday seasons, like I said. And well, I already have my tea with me. Make sure you grab your favorite drink. Mine today is chamomile tea. So yeah, feels perfect and very cozy for this time of the year. This video is for everybody. I'm gonna leave subtitles in Portuguese in case you are a totally beginner. So yeah, even if you are beginner, you're very welcome to stay. Let's have this little podcast, this little chat about this very fine time of the year. And who knows, by the end of the video, you might learn some expressions you didn't even know. You might also use these videos. You might also learn some expressions to talk about the holiday seasons. So first of all, like I said, holiday season's coming up. Christmas just around the corner. This is literally one of my favorite seasons, if not my favorite time of the year. There's even a lot of songs with this, like, this is the favorite time of the year, it's beginning to look like Christmas. But this kind of, like people say, this kind of magic feel. I know before there's a lot of people in the comments saying like, oh, Christmas is commercial and all of that. I know there's a lot of facts, just like Thanksgiving, for example. There's a lot of facts to it. But we can choose the parts that we want to focus on. Do we want to focus on this time being a great time to spend time together with the people that we like, with the people that we love, like gathering around, like this kind of feeling of hope and like expecting the new year to arrive? Or we only want to view from this lens of, oh yeah, it's commercial, it's just so people can sell more and whatever. I don't believe in Christmas. I don't want to, whatever. You can believe that nothing's a miracle or everything's a miracle. So I'd rather see those lands. Before we get into today's episode, just let me know down in the comments how this time of the year, how this holiday season make you feel, okay? How this time of the year makes you feel. How do you feel? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel excited? Do you feel kind of depressed that the year is ending and you didn't get to finish the things that you wanted to? I want to know more about how this time of the year makes you feel. And yeah, if you feel like it's a good time to study, or if you feel like, yeah, I'd rather to leave it to January because December, it's not a great time to start something new, leave your comments down below. So like I said, yeah, I'd rather view from this lens of it could be a great thing. It doesn't need to be a bad thing. So yeah, I'd rather view this as a inspirational time, even because, and yeah, there's a lot of things I like about it. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel motivated, inspired. I like those rainy days to combine, like, especially this, yeah, we are from the south, right? Here in Brazil, there's not so much correlation to the winter time and Christmas or fall, for example. But I love, like, especially fall recipes, and then like winter time, and the idea of like snowing, and even like if we are in Brazil, like we can talk about the rainy days, right? We spend inside drinking hot tea or like hot chocolate, or spending time with family, or exchanging gifts, for example. But yeah, so like I said, this is a very special time for me. My family didn't celebrate Christmas back when I was young, when I was growing up. So I never had those like kind of traditions, didn't really got much gifts going on. I actually didn't have my first tree until like 20 years. Until like 20. Until I got 20 years old. So yeah, my first tree was the one that I got myself, okay? That I gifted myself, that I treat myself to a first Christmas tree when I was 20 years old. And so like yeah, when I grew up, I could be like, "Oh yeah, whatever. I don't want to know about Christmas. My parents didn't do for me, blah blah blah." But I decided to be the one that I didn't have, right? So I was like, "No, yeah, I like celebrating Christmas. I think it's just so inspirational. I like this kind of feeling. It's just more of a like I am a rational person, but there are some things I allow myself to only feel without explanation. You know what I mean? Like without the comments if you know what I'm talking about. I actually created the call Christmas for the Kids, which is exactly this, like being able to give in this time of the year for people, especially for the kids. So when you see a kid light up when they get a present, it's different, and it's something that can leave memories that last like a lifetime for them. And study more about your science, and especially how much those times, those connections that you make during those early stages of your life make such a huge difference. I know that having this connection and being held up, being held up during this time, it's really it's really essential for the kids. And knowing that not all of the kids are going to have that, are going to be able to have the same experiences as the other one. Like I said, I didn't have some because their parents can't afford to make Christmas alive, and others because they really don't think it's something that they're supposed to do. There's a lot of things, especially being related to religions. When you grow up at a church, it's viewed as something that is wrong. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that much. The only thing that matters is that I saw this and I wanted to do something, and I wanted to start something on my own, because for me it was special. And as I have the imagination, which I really can match to a kid's brain, I know that this would make such a huge difference. So a few years ago, like I don't know, 5 years ago, I created the self-titled Christmas for the Kid, where I would, even if it's small proportions, I would create a gift. I would take up a letter of a kid that really wanted to receive a gift, and I would give to them, even if it wasn't like at the beginning something expensive, even if it wasn't for all the kids, um like in my city or in my state, but starting small but doing something that would make my Christmas better and their Christmas better as well. I remember that the first years was so amazing. I got to wrap a lot of gifts, give it away. It was lovely. It made really my year. But then work got so busy, and I remember that the last 2 years I wasn't so able to do it like I wanted to. And this year is like thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember about the Christmas for the Kid. I wish I could do something, but it's just like so much going on, so much projects to finish that I don't really know if I'm gonna have the time to focus on this right now. But like preparing myself to the next, hopefully. But it's something that was kind of this, yeah, the sadness when it comes to thinking about this, and like, oh, I think I'm not gonna be able to do something about that. That was something that I was just thinking about it. And then today I was literally working in my office when I heard the door, when I heard the ring bell. Someone was knocking at the door. And then I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, someone is. And I was like, yeah, that's weird because I don't have something to be delivered today. I'm not expecting anybody to come. I was literally on my work hours. But then I just answered, and it was so crazy. Did not expect it was a kid, literally. And I was like, okay. Then it was a kid. Then I heard like a soft voice, and I was like, is it a kid? And the kid was like, the boy was like, hi. And I was like, hey, are you looking for anybody specifically? Because I thought like he was just trying to find somebody that he knew, or maybe he was lost or something. But then he was like, oh, weird out, but he was just so kind of brave but also soft. And then he asked like, is there any kids there? And I was like, no. Are you looking for a friend? Because I thought like if he is trying to find any other kids, maybe he is trying to find maybe he's looking for a friend that he knows, something like that. And I was like, no, I just want to know if you have kids there because I really want a gift. Oh, and then I was like, oh my gosh, the kid is literally here to ask for a gift. He doesn't even know me. And so he was like, yeah, I wanted a gift. And I was like, oh my gosh. I felt this urge to keep talking to this kid. I didn't want to like just hang up and be like, oh, bye. So just kept talking to him. I was like, oh, you want a gift? But I don't have any gifts here because he want the cool thing is that he didn't want something like, oh, I want you to buy me a gift. He was just being he was just expecting that if you maybe have a kid at home, or I don't know, you probably would have some toys like around the house, and you could just give him, you could just, select, pick one and just share with him. Share with him. And then I was like, yeah, I don't have any gifts. And then immediately I was like, yeah, Christmas for the kids. I can't believe this is happening. I was like, oh my gosh, is this a sign though? We should just keep going with this. And then I was like, I wasn't prepared. I didn't prepare myself for any of that. It was very unexpected, but it was so graceful. I was like, I have to do something. So I just kept talking with him. I went to meet with him, ended up like giving him a change, see if we can buy a gift or a chocolate with it. And I was like, happy Christmas. I saw even Christmas, but I was like, I felt the need to say like, happy Christmas. I hope you have a great time. I hope you have a great holiday. And he was like, yeah, thank you, for you too. And he was like super happy. I don't even think it was that much of a big deal. I wanted to do more. I always think I can do more. But there is something about this courage, this braveness of this kid to really ring on a bell. Because, like, we don't have that here in Brazil, right? Let me know in the comments if that ever happened to you where you live. We know that in other countries, like in the north, like Canada, United States, we have this thing where people would go, especially Halloween, where people go for treats, for candy around the neighbor area. And family receives kids very well with this thing of like going for candy, going for gifts. But like here in Brazil, that's not really how it happens. I've never heard of anything like that here in Brazil. But yeah, in Brazil, we don't have that. um, tradition of going first. So for me, that was just, I can think of a other situation like that ever happened. Like, yeah, you can see kids trying to sell things, which is sadly, it really breaks my heart when I see a kid, asking for help and things like that. That happens, but this is specifically case, it was like a kid asking for a gift and like specifically going on a building, on a house, knocking on someone's door for Halloween, which is something, like I said, doesn't happen here. So it feels very holiday, it felt really holiday seasons. I really felt like I need to start holiday. I needed to start Christmas early this year. And it left me so inspired to do this podcast, to do more, maybe invite you to do something too. Like maybe if you feel Christmas as holiday seasons in general as something I don't know, as something commercial, depressing, maybe invite you to look in another perspective, especially when we look around other people perspective. People that don't have the same treatment that we have can afford gifts, can afford things that for us maybe it's just natural, right? But for some people, it's not, right? And when you do something like that, it really brings call, the whole soul call is spirit, the whole soul Christmas is spirit. And I believe even with all bad happening, we can still try to find those little things to focus on. And I was always the person who would focus on the things that I wanted to focus on. Like I pretty much built my world around me to really focus on the things that I wanted to focus. This episode really brought this inspiration in me to maybe do content, to maybe talk more about it, to really ground myself in what matters when it comes to those times. Like keeping yourself grounded, taking care of yourself, treating yourself to a nice gift, treating other people to a gift. Also let me know in the comments if that ever happened to you, if you had a episode like that you were able to help somebody else during this holiday time. How does it make you feel? I also wanted to add a little bonus, maybe some expressions for holiday season. I don't know. I just opened up the camera and came here for this episode. I didn't really prepare myself for this, but I feel like that's the whole spirit of inspiration. That's the whole inspiration mood that I got myself into because of this event. So yeah, that kid really revive something, really woken up something, really woken up the Christmas vibe and magic than me. And I hope something helps you to wake up to those truths that you need to see. Because what is life without the magic, without the hope, without love, without all of those things that makes us want to get up in the morning to do something, to create something, to be better, right? Without this, Christmas is commercial. Christmas is buying more and more, right? Yeah, I'm not saying everything is perfect, but also what I like to say is that a sense of perfect is not so much something or a situation that is flawless, but it's a sensation from within. It's actually what you do with what you have. That is what counts the most. I actually got this hat. This is the very first vocabulary that you need to know. That's the very vocabulary you need. Is learning how to say that in English. That is a Santa hat or simply hat. Now to talk about him, we use Santa Claus, right? Usually in a more American, more Canadian English, we say Santa Claus. So we don't pronounce the T. Santa, we say Sena. That's a very nice tip. Also, when I was telling my story, I used the expression light up like a Christmas tree. I said light up. So we also use the expression light up, making reference to the tree when it's all complete and it's in its full capacity, its full bloom. We say something light up when they got a gift or something. So definitely is an expression that you can use to talk about the feelings around the holiday seasons. Another expression that I use in my little story was in the holiday spirit. So it means like being in this vibration, this feeling, this vibe. It's another expression that we also use. I actually use a lot of those expressions. Another expression that I used was Christmas coming early. It means something good happened. Since we feel like Christmas can be a good thing, like receiving gifts and things like that, when we say Christmas came early, it means something happened in a good way. Something happened, so it came early. Before I finish, don't forget to leave down in the comments, how do you feel about this time of the year? How do you celebrate? I also want to know if you do something special, if you have any traditions in your family. And then I am going to finish this in a very exquisite way, in a very different way. I'm gonna tell you a dad joke. It's like when we think about Christmas, we think about getting the family, and then there's always that uncle that's gonna tell you a little joke. If you understand this dad joke, it means like you are in a very great level. It means like you're actually understanding English. All right, the first one is, what did one wall say to the other? That's just so silly. I'll meet you at the corner. I'll meet you at the corner. Did you understand? Leave me down in the comments if you can understand it. That's also a good one. The second one is, I've got a great joke about construction, but I'm still working on it. It's like those kind of silly jokes where you know that it's just so silly that somehow it's funny. How do you call an elephant that doesn't matter? An irrelevant. That's a good one too. Oh, I love this one. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? It was too tired. Comment down below if you want me to do a specific video about jokes, pun, as we call, or like some other ideas for more episodes, themes, things that we can talk about here. Wanted to share with you, but also in a way that you could also appreciate, and also that Christmas could come early for you too, as a way of like you're practicing your English, or you're just like getting in contact with the language in a different way. Or are you able to share stories as well in the comments? Don't forget to leave your comment in the community. É o seguinte, antes desse episódio finalizar, não se esqueça de deixar as suas ideias para novos podcasts. Lembrando que a gente tá com propostas diferentes, então o podcast da PROF, que é essa ideia focada principalmente em idiomas, vou deixar os links dos podcasts aí, dos canais para vocês conferirem. Já ajuda a PROF bater o recorde de maior número de canais e conteúdos aqui no YouTube, e alguns deles, claro, são podcasts que a gente tem aqui, seja falando sobre neurociência, idiomas, outros determinados assuntos também. Então, não se esqueça de deixar as suas recomendações para a gente poder fazer esse talk show, esse podcast funcionar, ser um grande sucesso. E para que você consiga, claro, ganhar conteúdo, para que você consiga usar esse momento também, né? Para a gente poder se conectar e para você também já sair com algo nesses podcasts, que seja um conhecimento, que seja uma expressão, que seja uma motivação. Eu te garanto que alguma coisa você vai ganhar. Eu Natal também vai vir mais cedo pra você com esses episódios aí. E eu te vejo pra mais um episódio. I'll see you for another video, another episode, another podcast. See you there. See you there. Bye bye.